They said the waters whispered secrets, but only to those with pure hearts. This is the story of a boy, a forgotten lake, and a tiny creature that spoke without words and changed everything he believed about kindness. In a quiet mountain village surrounded by mist and whispering pines, there was a hidden lake called Eloria. People said its waters could speak, but only to those whose hearts were pure. Most laughed at the story, calling it a bedtime myth. But for Eli, a gentle 12-year-old boy who found peace in silence and nature, that legend felt real. Eli didn't have many friends. The village kids often teased him for being quiet, for saving drowning insects, or for talking to birds. But he never stopped caring. He would simply smile and say, "Even the smallest lives matter." One afternoon, after another day of being mocked, Eli ran away to his favorite place, the edge of Lake Eloria. He dropped his backpack, sat on a rock, and stared into the still water. His reflection wavered in the fading light. And with a soft sigh, he whispered, "If these waters really whisper, I wish they'd whisper to me." For a long moment, there was only silence. Then ripples. Tiny bubbles rose from the surface, and from the shimmering blue depths, a small axolotl appeared. Its skin glowed faintly pink, and its eyes sparkled like tiny drops of night. Eli froze, his heart pounding. "Whoa, are you real?" he whispered. The creature tilted its head as if listening, then swam closer. It didn't move its mouth, but Eli heard a calm, gentle voice inside his mind. "The waters know your heart, Eli. You listen when others don't. You care when others laugh. That's why I've come." Eli blinked in disbelief, his eyes filling with tears. You can hear me." "Not your voice," the axolotl replied softly. "Your kindness." For a moment, time stood still. Eli forgot his sadness and loneliness. He asked questions, not with words, but with his heart. And though the creature never spoke aloud, its soft glow and ripples in the water answered him perfectly. Through the shimmering surface, the axolotl showed him visions: the cries of trees when they were cut, the laughter of raindrops when they kissed the soil, and the hum of rivers flowing freely. Eli sat there for hours, his heart calm, his soul wide open. When he finally stood to leave, the axolotl whispered one last message. "Remember, Eli, when the world turns cold, be like water. Flow around hate. Shine under the darkest skies." The next day, Eli ran through the village, his eyes glowing with joy. He told everyone about the axolotl and the whispering lake, but they laughed. "Talking fish? That's your new imaginary friend," they teased. But this time, Eli didn't cry. He just smiled. "You don't have to believe me," he said softly. "The waters only speak to those who truly listen." From that day on, Eli returned to the lake every afternoon. Rain or shine, he sat by the water, listening to the whispers no one else could hear. And somehow, the more he listened, the kinder the world around him became. Birds began to land near his feet. Trees swayed gently when he passed. Even the bullies began to notice the calmness in his eyes, something peaceful they couldn't explain. Years passed. Eli grew up and left the village, but he never forgot the lake. Whenever life grew too loud, he'd close his eyes and hear the axolotl's voice again, "Flow around hate. Shine under the darkest skies." And so he did. He helped the forgotten, protected the voiceless, and built sanctuaries for lost animals. Wherever he went, calm followed him like ripples from an unseen lake. One quiet evening, now old and gray, Eli returned to Eloria. The lake was just as he remembered, still, glowing faintly under the moonlight. He sat by the same rock, looked into his reflection, and whispered, "I never stopped listening." The waters rippled gently. And then, just like before, the axolotl appeared, shining brighter than ever. It swam in slow circles and whispered, "The pure heart never ages, Eli. You have kept the waters alive." The lake shimmered like a living mirror beneath the stars, and for a moment, it felt as if the entire world was breathing in peace. Moral: sometimes the world stops listening, but that doesn't mean you stop caring. Kindness has its own language, and only those who keep their hearts pure can hear its whispers. If this story touched your heart, Don't forget to subscribe for more powerful and inspiring stories like this. Because sometimes, even the quietest hearts have the loudest magic.